This thought for the day has been evolving over recent weeks, and it's turned into a personal reflection, but I'd just like to share it with you. It started when I was invited to join a get-together using Zoom, and I didn't want to forget the date and the time, so I made a note of it, because every day seems the same at the moment to me. And it struck me that how empty my diary had become. There were lots of crossings out as things had been cancelled due to the coronavirus. And then I was in the supermarket and I noticed how the shelves were empty. When that was at the stage when people were panic buying. Following that, I started to think about other things and notice other things that were empty. The school playgrounds without children, the skies without aeroplanes, church buildings without worship. And I even thought about, as the financial hardships were hitting people, empty wallets, empty bank accounts. And at the moment I'm reading a book called Earthed in God by Christopher Chapman. It's a great book if you enjoy gardening, and he draws parallels between personal spiritual growth and caring for a garden, and equally it can be an allotment, a window box or a container. And it was then that the penny dropped for me, that I thought God's trying to tell me something here. He wants me to discover something. Because in the book, Christopher Chapman refers to empty borders. So as gardeners, as we prune or support or feed our plants, sometimes we have to dig things up and throw them onto the compost heap. And then you're left with an empty border, an empty space. And the author encourages his reader to sit with that emptiness. Don't be in a hurry to fill it with something. And with the garden centres being closed at the moment, I've got empty spaces in the garden, empty pots, an empty border. So I've been spending some time with this lovely weather, sitting in the garden, and Christopher Chapman encourages a period of reflection where you sit in the garden and imagine that God is sitting alongside you and trying to resist the urge to get up and deadhead something or pull a weed up, just to sit and let your eye or other senses be led to what God wants you to notice. And then sit quietly and listen to what God is trying to tell you. Then, of course, there's the empty tomb that Mary Magdalene discovered on that first Easter. And that was in a garden too. And I just feel that that is the message for all of us, that in the resurrection of Jesus, which wasn't just an event that happened in history, it's a sign that God is at work in our lives every day, restoring us and offering hope as we meet all kinds of ends. I haven't fully understood yet what God is telling me personally, so I think I'd better get back out in the garden and sit alongside him a bit more. I hope you can too. Bye.